The one thing that we learned tonight at WWE Super Showdown is that the sands of time for The Undertaker and Goldberg have completely run out. This is your WWE Super Showdown official review and results right here on Off the Script.
Delete! This is mine.
Alive with it. People still didn't. Oh, man. You know, they wanted to call... There was a rumor. There was a rumor about WWE naming this event The Sands of Time. As if it's some fucking Prince of Persia adaptation. The Sands of Time. What a fucking coincidence that was the rumor coming into this show, man. I couldn't wait to do the intro to this podcast today, because legitimately the sands of time have run out for The Undertaker and Bill Goldberg, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I don't give a shit who I piss off. I don't give a shit who thinks I'm being negative or I have to show respect to the old timers, to the Hall of Famers. There's a certain time when you know it is not your time anymore. What we've seen tonight was not only 4 hours of a complete waste of time, but what we watched tonight in the main event might have very well been the saddest thing I have ever seen in all my years watching professional wrestling. And we will talk about that and the disaster that The Undertaker and Bill Goldberg was in the main event of WWE Super Showdown in Jeddah. This is your Super Showdown official review and results right here on Off the Script. I'm going to say that this is the official start to your weekend. Off the Script, episode 277, part number 1 right here, man. Thank you so very much for joining me this evening as we cover Super Showdown. If you missed anything else that I uploaded during the week, I would highly recommend you go and check it out, man. We got a lot of stuff on the channel, including Monday Night Raw, the Bait and Switch Saudi edition, with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. Goldberg and The Undertaker gave away half their match on SmackDown Live. In fact, what we seen on SmackDown Live was a lot better than what we seen tonight in the actual show. Velveteen Dream tweets out All Elite Wrestling. Adam Cole set for a demotion to the main roster. Thank you so much for that NXT review, man. Almost 20,000 views on a follow-up edition of NXT this week that really didn't do anything as far as present matches. It was just a highlight package show from TakeOver. And I really appreciate you guys showing up for that particular podcast, man. I really appreciate it. And if you missed any of that stuff, links are in the top right corner. Go and check all that stuff out. If you missed it, I would greatly appreciate all your support on Off the Script this week. Make sure you guys go get your JD's Elite. Still available, folks. I have not been pushing it, but that does not mean it is not available. JD's Elite right now, exclusively on Bonfire.com. One of the top-selling t-shirts in all of the YWC. That is the YouTube wrestling community. And become one of my Elite members, man. This is the most popular t-shirt on Off the Script. Link is down below. Exclusively JD's Elite on Bonfire.com. Make sure you guys check out Harry's. You guys know the deal about Harry's, man. Harry's.com/scripts. Why Harry's? I wish I could tell you why WWE just does not learn their lesson when it comes to these shows. I don't know, but I could tell you why Harry's. Harry's and their founders were two regular guys. Young guys. Two regular guys that were tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced gimmicks. vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like a prop in some cheesy sci-fi movie. These were just some of the tactics that the leading brands have used to overcharge us for years. They got rid of all that. Harry's makes quality, durable blades at a fair price, just $2 per blade. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. Harry's bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making quality blades for over 99 years. That is damn near a century, man. Pretty impressive. Now they can provide you factory direct prices and great quality all at the same time, and while giving you a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know, and they will give you a full refund. JD, this sounds great. It all sounds fantastic. What am I getting if I use your unique link? Harrys.com/script. You're going to get a handle with an easy grip. Orange, the navy blue, or the evergreen. Choice of color is up to you. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade for a close, comfortable, smooth shave. Rich lathering shave gel that will leave you smelling great, and when you apply it on your face, it leaves a beautiful tingling sensation that is quite addictive, folks. And a travel blade cover that will keep your razor dry and easy on the go. If you're a man on the go, if you're a man who needs to travel for business overseas, or if you're just wanting to spend time with your girl over her house, you're getting ready to go out for a night on the town, you need a quick shave, it is right there, easily accessible for you on the go. Listeners of my show can redeem their trial set by going to harrys.com/script. Become one of the 10 million plus that have tried Harry's. Harrys.com/script. Redeem your offer and let them know that JD sent you to help support Off the Script. And make sure you guys follow me on social media, man. At JD from NY206. That's both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. It is completely optional. It is up to you guys. And it's the only way to get exclusive content not available on YouTube. One of the bigger stories that actually took place hours before the show and in days leading up to the show was the notion of WWE possibly having a female match, a women's match on the show for Super Showdown. Now, Natty and Alexa Bliss were out in Jeddah making the rounds. They made the 17-hour flight over to Jeddah. And a lot of people were claiming that, yes, it's approved, WWE is going to add it to the show, and that, obviously, if you watch the show, was not the case. I'm glad it wasn't the show, because I'm going to be thinking out loud here and telling you guys what I would have wanted to do or would have liked if I am WWE. Even if it was approved, I don't think it would have been smart to randomly just put it on the show like that. Oh, we got it approved, let's do it. They're here, we got Natty and Alexa, let's do it. Just for the sake of doing it because they're here. And we got it approved. No, it's not the way you go about things. Things like this, history-making moments like this, you know that WWE relishes in the fact of first-time evers, history-making moment, another fucking thing that they could put on their resume and just brag about all over social media. If I'm WWE, I want to be approved, put the plan in motion, pick 2 women or a series of women to have this match with, and you build on that aspect. You don't take 2 women who are just randomly there in hopes of maybe being on the show and then put them on the show because they were approved. You want to build it up as a special moment. Now, when WWE does that, they have this tendency to just beat you over the head with it, and you're sick of it before you even see the fucking match. But if I'm WWE, I'm glad it did not happen as of this afternoon. I'm glad it wasn't Alexa Bliss, at least right now, because if they did get approved, we would be forced to watch Natty and Alexa Bliss, being that they were the only 2 females outside of Renee Young that made the trip over to Jeddah. Natty, I don't have a problem with, but Alexa Bliss, there has to be somebody else on that roster that deserves that opportunity a little bit more than Alexa Bliss. What the fuck has she done to warrant a position like that? That's all Sasha Banks would have needed to see. she's out in Jamaica somewhere having a fucking beef patty, and Alexa Bliss is in Jeddah performing in front of King Abdullah Stadium in the first ever Saudi Arabian women's match for WWE. I think we could do a little bit better than Alexa Bliss. She genuinely has done nothing, and I don't think she deserves that type of opportunity. Natty, on the other hand, more than 10 years, she's done everything that she's been asked of by the company. She is a figurehead for that division. I have no problem with Natty being there. Alexa Bliss is the one I have an issue with. So I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm glad it wasn't Alexa Bliss. And it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Sooner rather than later, we're going to have this entire situation beaten over our fucking skulls, and we're never going to hear the end of it. Dave Meltzer actually confirmed this afternoon when the Saudi Arabian General Sports Authority denied Alexa Bliss versus Natalya. Therefore, Bliss and Natty made the 17-hour trip for nothing. I wouldn't completely say they made the trip for nothing. They did greet some of the sick children in the hospitals in Jeddah. Whatever your case may be, it could be looked at as a great moment for those children in Jeddah. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, they merely hopped on a 17-hour flight in hopes of something happening that never really was going to happen in the first place. Dave Meltzer said this, and I quote, "At one point, the government had indicated to WWE that they could have their first women's match on the show, but then wavered on the decision," end quote. It's going to happen sooner rather than later, folks. Don't worry about women's wrestling in Saudi Arabia. They got other problems to worry about more so than having a women's match. Super Showdown started off with the Usos versus the Revival on the pre-show. First thing that I noticed with these guys is that they were only given 10 minutes. 10 minutes in front of a 99.9% casual audience in Jeddah. Probably less than that. They went on with the bell ringing around the 11-minute mark, and then clearly they needed time to get their final promotion in for the show. Something I don't understand, two teams like this, you give them 20 minutes to go out there and let them go. No matter what type of audience. Did you really need to go almost a full hour running with the same fucking advertisements and running down the card that is lackluster at best, with the same video package that you've been showing us all month, spread across Raw and SmackDown Live? I don't get it. The one thing I noticed about the Revival, they changed their ring tights from the hashtag FTR to spell out the entire Forever the Revival. I'm wondering if that was something management forced them to change, knowing that FTR is clearly a thing poked fun at by Cody and the Elite. And if you paid close enough attention to Double or Nothing, Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes got out of a limousine as they got to the MGM Grand Arena. Cody Rhodes was drinking a cup of Starbucks coffee, and on the little cardboard holder, which keeps you from burning your hand while you're drinking the coffee, he had in clear black marker, hashtag FTR. Maybe an innuendo. Just telling the Revival, bro, I'm thinking about you. Or bros, I'm thinking about you. The door is open when you're ready. Kind of interesting with that. I wonder if WWE forced them to write out the full meaning of it on their tights instead of using the smaller hashtag version of it. Weird comment here by Michael Cole. That's not a out-of-the-box thing. Michael Cole is just a weirdo. Weird comment by Michael Cole about Pat McAfee being able to wear shorts for this show because it was over 100 degrees in Jeddah. Now, if that one went over your head, I was listening very intently for whatever reason at this portion of the show. And if you did not remember the story back from WrestleMania weekend where Pat McAfee got chewed a new asshole because he wore shorts. It was a tuxedo short suit. He wore shorts because they were in New Jersey, I guess. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Maybe it was warm that day. I don't know what was going on, but this was his first WrestleMania. He wore a tuxedo short suit with a vest and a tie or a bow tie. Michael Cole reamed him out because he was supposed to come in full tuxedo. He clearly asked, and everybody ignored him for the day. Nobody really made a mention of it. He was legitimately there. He expressed he was legitimately there all day long, and nobody said a fucking word. Michael Cole seen him. Vince McMahon seen him. The talent seen him. So when Michael Cole decided upon himself to ream him out, it was like 10 or 11 hours later, and Pat McAfee was like, I was here all day. Now you're telling me something as you're watching me live on WrestleMania's pre-show? So he banished him to the fucking locker room, wanted him to change. Pat McAfee said he was going to fucking walk out and quit the company, being that he just signed a new 3-year deal with the company. And he said Michael Cole belittled him to a point where it frustrated him to want to quit. It was ridiculous. So Michael Cole goes about making this line, oh, Pat McAfee would be able to wear shorts here because it's over 100 degrees. Just fucking weird line to throw out there, man. I don't know why he really had to raise a situation like that live on the air during this match, and it had nothing to do with what was going on in the ring. So Jimmy Uso beat down, or was beaten down until a hot tag was made. This was very basic and by the numbers, by the way. Jimmy Uso was being beaten down until a hot tag by Jey Uso. Jey Uso comes back in off a crossbody, off the top for a near fall. Jey Uso had a roll-up on Dawson, but Wilder, with a distraction on the referee, could have won the match there, but Dawson then landed a huge spine buster for a near fall. So Dash Wilder was on the outside, and he was distracting the referee, doing revival-like things, and there you go. The Usos could have won the match, but did not, and like I said, we had Dawson hit a spine buster for a near fall. The Revival tried for double team maneuvers, stopped by the Usos with a bunch of super kicks to both Dawson and Wilder. I guess that's what you would call them if you combine them. I don't know. I'm fucking hot. I'm tired. I just sat through a 5-hour Saudi Arabian show. Cut me some fucking slack, you asshole. Anyway, Dawson and Wilder with a double super kick delivered to them. And that was pretty much it. The Usos win a very lackluster tag team match that didn't do anything different than what we've already seen from these two teams on Raw. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, WWE let them go for a good 15 to 18 minutes. This was completely pointless, with the commentary trying to desperately express how this was an important match for both, as both teams were jockeying for position against Ryder and Hawkins. The same Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins that have been off TV for the last 4 weeks, the same Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins that are your Raw Tag Team Champions. You wouldn't know that because there is no division on Monday Night Raw outside of these two teams. All these teams in WWE, and they go back to using the same two teams. This is not the first time I will complain about tag teams. What happened in the Battle Royal angered me to no end. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Run-of-the-mill stuff, very academic. The Usos win here in about 9 minutes. And that's all these two teams were worth in front of this shit crowd. We got the actual show to start. The setup looked almost identical to WrestleMania because it's a WrestleMania equivalent pay-per-view. Not sure if you guys realize that, but this is a WrestleMania equivalent show. Not really that difficult of a thing to pull off nowadays because WrestleMania is looked at as one of the worst wrestling shows of the entire year. It's all hype. There's no substance. WWE has gone away from booking WrestleMania the way it should be booked, and it's nothing but bullshit for 7 hours. And at the end of the night, we're usually very depressed and very tired and very disappointed, and I can't remember a WrestleMania in which I said, you know what? I'm happy I stayed home all day and watched 8 hours of fucking pro wrestling till 1 o'clock in the morning. It's not that difficult of a thing to do. Fireworks and pyro going off to start the show. Can I just say, in addition to all this, When Legends Rise by Godsmack is going to be in my fucking nightmares for the next 3 weeks. Can WWE cut it out with just overexposing the fucking theme song for a goddamn pay-per-view? I feel like they went about this in the worst possible way. It was completely obnoxious. I am sick of hearing that fucking song. I never want to hear Godsmack ever again. They've never been the same band outside their first couple of albums. With their debut album, which I remember where I was and who I was with, and where I bought it, Tower Records in Yonkers. That was many, many, many moons ago, people. The original self-titled Godsmack album is their first album, and it is their best album. If you don't agree with me, I don't really give a shit. They're fucking terrible now. The new album ain't that bad, but it's certainly not on the level of their first album, even their second album. But my favorite Godsmack song, and I don't know why I'm talking about this, I like to ramble. My favorite Godsmack song is Immune. That's my favorite Godsmack song. So there you go. There's your fun fact for the fucking evening. I will be happy I never hear Legends Rise ever again. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin opened the show, Universal Championship. Seth Rollins comes out with his entire torso bandaged from the attack on him from Brock Lesnar on Raw, where Lesnar claimed, Friday! We're going to do it Friday, Paul! Remember, Friday, folks. Friday's the day. We're going to do it Friday! Friday. So, that's the day he was going to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. It's Friday, folks. Do we have a new champion? We'll talk about it. God forbid us if Baron Corbin, at this point, this is what I was thinking. I'm writing my notes in real time, by the way. God forbid us if Baron Corbin ever wins a championship, let alone tonight, if he won the Universal Championship. He was introduced as Jeddah's favorite son. Ha 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 ha. I didn't laugh. Started out hot and heavy. Corbin went right for the ribs. Rollins tried a springboard early on, and in a great spot that looked aesthetically fantastic, Corbin shoved Rollins off the top rope when Rollins went for a springboard. He came down on his rib cage on the top rope in a very forceful and brutal manner. So I really like that. Corbin maintained control by a series of moves working on Rollins' rib cage, because that's exactly what a good wrestler would do. You attack the weakness and you don't let up. If I'm going to go old school commentary here, if you can't breathe, you can't move. There you go. I got to say, man, no matter how many people dislike Baron Corbin, I love Corbin's slide out of the ring, running back into the ring while giving himself momentum around the ring post and delivering his lariat. Just a great looking spot. He does it all the time, every single match, which kind of takes away from the spot itself, but it looks great nonetheless. Rollins mounted a comeback here with a sling blade and a dive to the outside on Corbin. Corbin rolled in and then right back out of the ring on the opposite end. Rollins delivered another suicide dive on Corbin, all with bruised ribs. Who would have thought? Rollins went for a big frog splash. Corbin grabbed Rollins by the throat looking for a chokeslam backbreaker, and Rollins turned that into a sunset flip pinfall for a near fall. Rollins calling for the stomp, and Corbin rolled out of the ring again. Rollins looked to dive again, and Corbin caught him with an elbow on the outside. Big slam to the midsection for a near fall for Baron Corbin. At this point, he was getting very upset that he couldn't put away Rollins. He was yelling at the referee. This is like 2 or 3 different times he yelled at the referee, and this is actually going to become a big focus on the match itself. Rollins got up, went for the stomp. Corbin moved, deep 6, near fall. Corbin again yelling at the referee that after the deep 6, it was a slow count. The match should be over. Do your job. Count to 3. Claim me as your new Universal Champion. Frustrated, Corbin grabs a steel chair. Referee takes it, throws it out of the ring. The referee finally has had enough of Baron Corbin yelling in his face. He starts pointing his finger and digging it into Baron Corbin's chest. Rollins took advantage of this and rolls Corbin up for the win, and he retains the Universal Championship. After the match, Corbin delivered the end of days. Out comes Brock Lesnar with a steel chair. Things should be academic from here. Or you would have thought. Clearly that wasn't the case. Friday, folks. It's Friday. I guess we have a new champion looming at Super Showdown. They walk to the ring. Lesnar comes in with a steel chair. Paul Heyman has the briefcase. Paul Heyman, in one of the most non-accidental ways, this guy played this off just miserably. Seriously. When have we ever seen Paul Heyman slip while getting into the ring? This looked terrible. Paul Heyman gets into the ring. He's going through the middle and third ropes. He comes into the ring and he trips on the way in, dropping the Money in the Bank briefcase on his way into the ring. So this gives Lesnar the, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is going here? Rollins is already on the ground selling the end of days. So Lesnar's trying to see what's going on with Paul Heyman. Rollins takes advantage, low blows Brock Lesnar while Paul Heyman tripped and dropped the Money in the Bank briefcase. So clearly, Rollins sees the chair. He wants retaliation for Monday night. He picks up the chair, starts slamming the steel chair into Brock Lesnar's back. Brock Lesnar's back was completely red from the chair shots by Seth Rollins. Rollins yelling at Lesnar, calling him a big, ugly son of a bitch. Brock's face down on the briefcase. Seth delivers the curb stomp on Lesnar right on the briefcase. And that was pretty much it. Rollins escapes with the Universal Championship. I have to say, and for everybody that's claimed after my tweet, oh, but he's going to cash in on Kofi. He's going to cash in on Kofi Kingston, JD. Clearly that didn't happen either, so my point stands. How stupid does this make Brock Lesnar look? Legitimately, how stupid does he look now? By not cashing in and wanting to wait till Friday. Of all people, you make Brock Lesnar look fucking stupid, and you completely just devalue the Money in the Bank briefcase because not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times this guy told you he was going to cash in, and 4 times he didn't. 0 for 4. You know what I do with someone who's 0 for 4? I bench them. You're going to be replaced by somebody else who's going to do the job and get the job done. I don't understand what we were watching here. Lesnar looks like the biggest schmuck in all of pro wrestling for not cashing in on Monday night. He's gonna watch the footage back, and after leaving Rollins in a fucking bloody mess, being gurneyed out into a fucking ambulance, he's gonna say, Paul, why didn't I do it? The biggest fucking schmuck in all of pro wrestling, a fucking retard, is Brock Lesnar. That's the way he looks. Absolutely terrible booking and a waste of a briefcase that should have honestly went to anyone else to actually raise their stock in this god-awful fucking company. What a joke. I don't give a shit about the fucking briefcase anymore. I legitimately was with you guys. I thought he was going to cash in on Kofi Kingston later in the night because of what happened to Seth Rollins. We didn't get that either. Brock Lesnar shows up in Jeddah for 3 minutes of work, gets beat with a steel chair, not to cash in. Here's a cool $2 million. Absolutely ridiculous. What a fucking terrible booking situation this entire Money in the Bank briefcase is. Andrade Cien Almas versus the Demon, Finn Balor. Intercontinental Championship on the line. Andrade Cien Almas is alone. No Zelina Vega for reasons I am sure you all know why. Aleister Black didn't make the trip, so why would Zelina Vega, on top of Zelina Vega being a female, her presence wasn't needed on the show. Balor made his demon entrance to pyro and snow. Yes, snow. As if I'm fucking Abbott of Immortal in the fucking snowy mountain peaks of the north. Fucking snow in Saudi Arabia. Snow in the desert. What a creative entrance for Finn Balor, man. Yeah, look, he's a demon coming up from the depths of hell. Let's make it snow in Jeddah. He crawled all the way down to the ramp, at the bottom of the ramp, and there was the beautiful Intercontinental Championship. Reminded me of an NXT entrance, which we don't see enough of, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. Things were pretty even early on. Andrade went for hammerlock DDT, but Balor escaped, hit a drop kick. Andrade was sent out of the ring, but he ended up tripping Balor on the apron, giving him the opening he needed to take advantage from this point on. Balor mounted a comeback with a drop kick. He clotheslined Andrade to the floor and hit his signature dive over the top rope. Beautifully done. Back and forth they went. Andrade went for a reverse tornado DDT, but Balor escaped. Took out Andrade and actually hit the 1916. Did the commentary call it by that name? Of course not, because what the fuck do they know? NXT move, NXT name. You think they're going to call it on the main roster? Obviously not. Andrade countered with a springboard knee and knees in the corner. And that was pretty much on his way to hopefully winning the title. But at this point, I knew that was not going to be the case. Andrade went for a double moonsault, but Balor got the knees up. Andrade went for a second moonsault, and Balor got the knees up. They went to the apron, where Andrade went for a sunset flip powerbomb on the outside. Instead, Balor took control, sending him back into the ring on the apron, and then he hit a double foot stomp on the apron to Andrade. Andrade cut off Balor, hit the hammerlock DDT. Balor kicked out. Very believable near fall, but I knew what the end result was going to be. He hit a running dropkick and started to go for the coup de grace, but instead Andrade met him up top. Balor hit a DDT off the top rope, which was probably the best spot of the entire match. Beautiful looking spot. I'm surprised they actually did something like that. He quickly ran to the apron on the outside, climbed up to the top rope, hit the coup de grace for the win, and he retains the Intercontinental Championship. This was an excellent match that was contested in front of a dead fucking crowd. You might as well have nobody in the fucking crowd, because that's exactly what the audience sounded like. This was probably the best match that they both had together up until this point. Is it something that I would tell you guys to go out of your way and watch, seeing that these two guys are the best talents in all of WWE? No, I would not tell you to go and watch it, because it really wasn't anything all that special. It was the best match that they had together, but not something that I would recommend you go out of your way to watch and stop what you're doing. The ending was pretty predictable, with Balor coming out as the Demon, and was merely done to hype the event as being the WrestleMania equivalent. But the commentary made you think that Andrade actually had a chance of winning, and he never did. The crowd was pretty dead for most of this, and is a big reason why this match was good and not great, as it could have been or should have been. Finn Balor retains the Intercontinental Championship. Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon with Drew McIntyre. Awesome. Fucking awesome. Shane McMahon had Greg Hamilton do his typical entrance. Drew McIntyre comes out, standing in Shane McMahon's corner. I wonder if Drew McIntyre is going to get involved. So he's out there in Shane McMahon's corner. Roman Reigns makes his entrance, and my eyes begin to roll like the fucking Undertaker into the back of my skull. The big dog, folks, has arrived in Jeddah. The big dog. Pyro for the big dog, because he's Roman Reigns. Wonderful. Not one set of pyro, two sets of pyro. One on the stage, and then one around the entire fucking building, shooting to the outside in the night sky over the city of Jeddah. I'm asking myself why. Two sets of pyro for a non-title match, and a feud that I still don't understand the meaning of, or why it's happening. Unreal. Now you want to know why Roman Reigns is looked at as someone that the fans don't give a fuck about. I wonder why. You do something like that for Roman Reigns, who's to say fucking anybody else didn't deserve that? Why didn't Andrade deserve the fucking fireworks? Why didn't the Demon deserve the fireworks? I don't understand it. Now you want to know why people look down on him and fucking can't stand the motherfucker. Shane attacking Roman Reigns at the belt. It's 104 degrees. You see the sweat dripping off these guys already, man. I don't feel jealous about being one of them at all. I would not want to be there whatsoever. He immediately gained control, but Shane cut him off and posted him, sending Reigns into the floor, or into the turnbuckle and onto the floor. Shane worked over Reigns, putting him down with a long chin lock. Shane getting control with a fucking chin lock on Roman Reigns in 2019. Folks, I don't know who's finding this interesting, but I gotta give Roman Reigns some credit. The guy is a young athlete in the prime of his fucking career in 2019, a former WWE champion. And here Roman Reigns is selling submission moves for a 51-year-old non-wrestler in Shane McMahon. How can anyone say they enjoy this? Honestly, do you know what that does to your precious Roman Reigns? It makes him look like a fucking fool. That is god-awful fucking psychology. Pro Wrestling 101. Yeah, we're going to beat you down and have Shane McMahon try and put a chin lock on you and you need to sell it. That is awful. That is fucking awful. Shane McMahon should have come out all guns blazing. Here he is doing fucking submission holds on Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns has to sit there and fucking sell it before he mounts a comeback. Just terrible. which Roman did. He mounted a comeback, short arm clotheslines in the corner, took Shane down with a kick. Roman went for the Superman punch. Shane clipped Roman's knee with a chop block in midair as he went for the spear. He goes for the triangle submission. He escaped the hold as Shane exited the ring. McIntyre jumped Roman as he entered the ring, but Reigns took care of him with the Superman punch, laid him out, and chants of CM Punk while this happened rang out in Jeddah. I don't know why. I don't know what happened there, but CM Punk chants were being chanted during the Roman Reigns-Shane McMahon match. I'm assuming that has to do with him being the best in the world. Apparently Jeddah still knows who the best in the world is. And don't worry, you'll be chanting his name on August 31st. Don't worry. Back in the ring, Shane hits a spear of his own for a near fall. Reigns started to make a comeback, going for a spear. Shane countered by kicking Reigns. Reigns immediately took him down with a punch. McIntyre entered the ring behind the referee's back, laid out Roman with the Claymore kick, and Shane McMahon pins Roman Reigns at Super Showdown. Roman Reigns, no matter what you think of him, I mentioned this already, former WWE champion. We are watching Shane McMahon in 2019 wear Roman Reigns down on the mat with a fucking shin lock. It went the length it needed to go, and I'm thankful for that. That's all I'm thankful for here, because the match was fucking boring. I'm thankful for that, but even with it being so short, it was just so ungodly fucking entertaining. I don't know why legitimately anyone cares about this. Shane McMahon winning this in the manner he did only solidified that we are getting more Shane, more Drew, and more Roman on Monday and Tuesday nights, leading into Stomping Ground, and then I'm assuming Extreme Rules. Folks, if you don't know what's coming, we're gonna have the next month of television taken up by this fucking garbage. We got Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at Stomping Ground. Extreme Rules is the one night of the year WWE goes extreme. What do you think's going to happen there? It's going to be Roman versus Drew versus Shane, and he's going to beat both of them in the middle of the ring. God awful. I don't give a fuck if you put these guys in a fucking ring of fire at Extreme Rules. I don't care. Who gives a shit? Shane McMahon winning this only says, hi, we're getting more Shane McMahon on television. If you're happy about that, you're fucking mental. Shane McMahon has channel-changing heat. He's not a bad guy. We don't hate him because he's a good bad guy. We hate him because he's 51 years old and he's taking spots away from 60% of the roster in a storyline that means absolutely nothing. Nothing. No championships, no control of the company. What are they fighting over? What are they fighting over? You might as well be fighting over the last fucking Coca-Cola and catering. Unbelievable. More of this, more of that, more worthless fucking feuds to have happen on pay-per-views that are coming up with Stomping Grounds and Extreme Rules. The more I see of this, the more I will continue to change the channel when these characters are on TV. It's just mindless, go with the motions TV that is completely lifeless. And fuck me for being a fan of Drew McIntyre. The guy deserves so much better. Everywhere you look, he's nothing more than a fucking lackey. Does Drew McIntyre deserve to be a fucking lackey? This is all WWE thinks. 1 minute he's paired with Ziggler and Strowman. 1 minute he's paired with Corbin and Lashley. The next time he's paired with Elias and fucking Shane McMahon. Is the guy ever going to do anything on his own? How terrible does that make Drew McIntyre look? Oh, but he's with Shane McMahon. Who gives a shit? That means to me, you can't get the job done on your own. When we all know he can. Garbage. This match was fucking boring. The definition of boring. Yet, we're going to see more of it. It's going to be a long fucking summer, folks. Strap yourselves in. Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan versus the Lucha House Party in a 3-on-1 handicap match. Why this is happening on this show? I don't fucking know. Jeddah didn't give a shit about it. Neither did you watching it at home. 6 months. 6 months Lars Sullivan's been on the main roster. called down from NXT, Lars Sullivan finally has his first match on WWE TV after 6 months. His ring entrance was fucking fantastic in NXT. I don't want to hear that WWE couldn't mimic that ring entrance in NXT on this show. And I doubt that they're going to mimic it on any show moving forward, because it's not something that Vince McMahon or his fucking clown parade came up with. It was beautiful. A thing of fucking beauty. Simplistic. And it was fantastic. Lars Sullivan walks down to the ring in the dark. You see the spotlight shining on him, and the way the shadow of his figure hit the spotlight, you seen that shit emanate in the middle of the ring, presenting him in this fucking monster-like just feel. What do they do here? His music hits to fucking crickets in the Saudi Arabian night sky, and nobody makes a fucking peep. Nobody. I remember the days of Lars Sullivan doing that entrance, and when the lights came on, people legitimately fucking headbanging along with his theme music. Not anymore. People don't even want to see him on fucking television, let alone headbang to his theme music. No reaction to Lars Sullivan, because honestly, who is Lars Sullivan in the eyes of this casual audience? Dorado got some brief offense on Sullivan, quickly pushed him to the floor, took him back to the ring, hit a giant shoulder block to Sullivan. He sent both Dorado and Kalisto to the floor. Metalik tried for some offense, was coming up empty on that attempt. Same thing for Kalisto, who was quickly swatted down after an attempt of some top rope offense. Sullivan took down Kalisto with a one-armed powerbomb and went to the top rope, but Dorado and Metalik pushed him down to the mat and beat him up for a DQ. So Sullivan, I'm assuming, was going to go up top for the headbutt, and then the match ended in a DQ. 3-on-1 handicap match ended in a fucking DQ. A DQ that the Lucha House Party ignited. A DQ that is something a heel faction would do to Lars Sullivan, the heel. But the Lucha House Party are babyfaces, so why are they going rogue and causing a DQ in a heel-like fashion? All three members of the Lucha House Party beat up on Lars after the match. Lars did come off his feet in this match a few times. And to point that out, it actually looked like they laid him out. They tripped him up. They were covering him, smothering him. They tried to leave, but Sullivan stalked all three of them. Metalik attacked him. He ended up laying all three out on the floor. Dorado went for a crossbody. I think he actually back body dropped Metalik on the ramp, which sounded fucking devastating. Dorado went for a crossbody off the top. Instead, he was slammed onto the apron in a very sloppy way, and that was pretty much it. So I was saying to myself after this, what the fuck was the point of all of this with Lars Sullivan? This match was set up for Sullivan to win, and win in dominating fashion. Sullivan wins by DQ. He gets the win, but if you wanted to establish him, wouldn't it have been more impressive to beat all three of these guys with ease and then pin all three of them at the same fucking time? Who the fuck are the Lucha House Party? Who are they in the grand scheme of things? Instead, you take a 3-on-1 handicap match, you overthink the entire fucking thing, you have the Lucha House Party cause a DQ, which is something a heel faction would do. You made this the most unentertaining fucking match as you could possibly make, and overbooked this thing, and it came off like a fucking mess. Yeah, he beat up all three guys at the end of the match, but who the fuck cared? Who cared? Did you care about the Lucha House Party coming into the match? Why the fuck would you give a fuck about them being beat up by Lars Sullivan after the match? What did it accomplish? Yes, Sullivan is a freak. Sullivan is big. He's big and tough. But all three of the House Party aren't even 1/4 of who Lars Sullivan is. How impressive is it that he beat up 3 cruiserweights at WWE Super Showdown? Wins matter. He needs to wrestle, dominate, go through the roster, and win. Stop overthinking and overbooking the simplest of matches. A complete waste of everyone's time. Sullivan is not getting over. Sullivan is a complete waste coming up from NXT. This is his fault for doing what he did 10 years ago. It's obviously biting him in the ass. And this is WWE's fault. WWE, they booked him like shit over the last several weeks. Nobody gives a shit. You're looking at Gene Snitsky all over again, and that's becoming more evident week by week by week. And I hate that I have to fucking say that, because I am a fan of Lars. I had high hopes for Lars coming out of NXT. Why wouldn't you? And here we are, another NXT talent completely fucking wasted at the hands of Vince McMahon. Gonna be a common theme throughout the rest of the fucking year until that man drops dead in the chair. Moving on. Triple H and Randy Orton. We'll talk about these fucking two old-timers that had a god-awful fucking match. What else is new? That's the fucking theme with Super Showdown. God-awful match. But first, I want to talk about The Ridge, because this is more entertaining than fucking Randy Orton and Triple H. The Ridge. Ridge.com/script. Code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. You know, one of the more difficult things for me to do is go out and shop for a wallet. I'm not the type of guy that's going to go out and buy a designer wallet and spend all this types of money on something with some stupid brand name logo on it. I'm not that type of guy. I usually go into the mall. I walk into Hot Topic. Oh, this Legend of Zelda wallet looks cool. Oh, this Metallica wallet looks cool. Oh, this Super Mario wallet looks cool. I'm that type of guy because it's very indicative of me and my personality and my interests. Now, I want you guys to look in your wallet. Better yet, I want you to go out for an afternoon with your father, and I want you to take a very close look at his wallet, because I know I did the same thing. I know my dad did the same thing. Look in your wallet. What do you have in your wallet right now? What does your dad have in his wallet right now? Guarantee you have old receipts for when you took the wife out for dinner 3 months ago for your anniversary. Guarantee you got old hotel room keys in your wallet. Guarantee you got business cards and contact numbers on some small piece of paper that you don't even remember who they are or where you were when you exchanged this information. You're looking at your dad and you're thinking to yourself, I gotta get my dad a new wallet for Father's Day. I present to you, right here on Off the Script, the Ridge Wallet. It was actually created by a father and son team. There's the Father's Day correlation. A father and son team who value reliability in their everyday gear. They're making everyday goods that turn the things that you carry, like backpacks, chargers, wallets, into tools for better living. The flagship product of the Ridge is indeed the Ridge Wallet. It was launched on a Kickstarter in 2013 and now sits in the front pockets of 750,000 men and women, including myself. And I want you guys to think about your fathers on this coming Father's Day. Over 30,000 five-star reviews, and it's more than likely what your dad will love this Father's Day. When he thinks of Father's Day and the gifts that he's gotten, he's going to remember that you got him the Ridge Wallets. If he doesn't like it, 45 days you have to return the wallet if he does not like the product. The Ridge Wallet was actually started by Daniel Kane and his dad, Paul. Proof that the utility of the minimalist wallet can span generations. Now, I want you guys to look closely at the screen that you see right here on Off the Script. You guys can save 10% off today with worldwide free shipping by going to ridge.com/scripts. Once again, that's ridge.com/script. Use the code SCRIPT. Link is down in the description below. There's a lifetime warranty. If your dad does not love it, again, free returns in case he doesn't. It comes in titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, and over a dozen different styles and colors. I got the titanium because I love it and it feels fantastic. Once again, guys, free worldwide shipping this Father's Day, 10% off, ridge.com/script. Moving on here, man, with WWE Super Letdown from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, by the way. Something must have changed as far as WWE initiative or some sort of policy change. They actually listed the name of the country that they were emanating from. I guess they realized how fucking ridiculous they sounded. Where the fuck is Jeddah? Do I really need a globe on my desk here to figure out where Jeddah is? Am I supposed to magically know? What if I'm a first-time watcher? For all I know, Jenna could be in your fucking mother's basement. Triple H and Randy Orton. The hits keep on rolling, folks, with Super Showdown. The match was completely fucking boring. Boring. Oh, but JD, they worked an old school mentality, man. They worked an old school mentality. How can't you like it, man? Excuse me, I don't want to watch a 50-year-old chief operating officer wrestle someone who was on the active roster who deserves better in Randy Orton. He should be concentrating on building the future in NXT, all while having his father-in-law kill whatever he created. That should be Triple H's sole job. Not wrestling at a WrestleMania equivalent pay-per-view at the age of 50. I honestly did not give a single shit about any of this, and I'm sure neither did you. Don't lie to me. I know you didn't. There's no fucking way you could have possibly enjoyed this. I don't give a shit in which era you grew up in. I don't give a fuck how much of a super fan you are of Triple H and Randy Orton. This was terrible. This was terrible. The 5-minute video package with the epic music that they've been playing over and over and over again on Raw and SmackDown was better than this. The fucking promo that they cut on Monday Night Raw this past week was better than this. This one went just as long as Triple H's match with Batista at WrestleMania. Now, if you're asking me, because I like to create topical discussions down in the comment section, if you're asking me which match was better here, I'm going to go with this one, just simply because of what happened at the ending. This went just as long as Triple H's match with Batista at WrestleMania, which was also fucking boring. Both of these matches did not need to go as long as they did, and honestly could have used the match time to be cut in half. This is not the match Randy Orton needs at this time in his career. He is worth so much more than that. And I don't understand why they think so lowly of him to make him come off looking so terrible in this match. If Randy Orton went to AEW in January, when his contract is up, I would not be surprised. Imagine that. I would love to see that. Just thinking about that, I'd love to see that. Triple H needs to have one more final match and against someone who he deems worthy of retiring him, and that's it. He needs to remain in the suit and tie and worry about NXT. That is his job. That is where he needs to be. As usual, imagine being a young talent, watching this show, wondering if you will ever get on TV with the amount of part-time talent that WWE continues to push on their programs. That has to be completely demoralizing. The only time I actually became interested in this match was when they started to break out the pedigrees and the RKOs. Speaking of which, Orton should have only needed one RKO. One. Not two. Not 1.5. One. One RKO. I don't give a shit who you are. The RKO was the most protected finisher in wrestling next to the End of Days and Kenny Omega's One-Winged Angel. And here you are giving it away as if it means nothing. What was it used for? What was it used for? To have Triple H kick out and eventually lose the match anyway? Where's the principle of keeping finishing moves looking credible? Now Baron Corbin and the End of Days is the most protected finisher in all of WWE. But I guess if you didn't watch the show, which I'm assuming most of you didn't because that's why you're here, you will have not had the visual of Triple H kicking out of the RKO. So whatever I just said might not even apply to you anyway. The casuals certainly ate it up, but in the end, it was just another match that you won't go back and watch, even with it being Triple H and Randy Orton. Randy Orton had a typical entrance. Triple H obviously needed to come down to the ring in some sort of monster fucking vehicle, you know, because it's a WrestleMania equivalent event. The one thing that I loved was his vest, on the right side of his vest, at the bottom. There was a huge NXT logo patch that was visible. I loved it. Huge NXT chants when the bell rung and both guys were in the ring. You know that makes Triple H feel good. going halfway across the country, or the world, I should say, not the country, there I am. I guess I do need a geography lesson. Halfway across the globe, and hearing the chants of NXT in Saudi Arabia. That's a good thing, man. Goes to show you how global NXT is certainly becoming, even for an underground or a minor league promotion. Vanilla midgets with no fucking charisma or ability to fucking work a match like the old school. Fuck you. Anyway, they start off slow. What else are they gonna do? Gotta work Triple H's fucking snail-like pace. They exchange holds until Orton cheap shots Triple H and goes on some offensive. Triple H goes at him and starts working on Orton's shoulder. Orton was holding his, I believe it was his right shoulder in this match. His left shoulder. I don't fucking know. I barely was paying attention. Barely enough to take fucking notes for this thing. So, he was working on Orton's shoulder. Orton came back in a big way, giving Triple H a big side slam on the announcer's table. Orton stomps on Hunter back in the ring. Orton had a headlock on Triple H. And this was one of those situations where I'm like fucking dozing off. I'm like, how much longer is this going to go on? This legitimately felt like a fucking eternity. Not something that this show needed at this time of the day. Randy Orton holding Triple H down in a fucking headlock at Super Showdown. Yeah, what a fucking epic collision between two Hall of Famers. Anyway, we got the fucking headlock. Triple H finally cut him off and tried to go for the pedigree, but Orton slingshotted him into the corner. Triple H still managed to take down Orton with a clothesline. Triple H went for the pedigree again, but Orton dropped him on the apron, then hit a dropkick. Orton hit him with some punches in the corner, went for an RKO. Triple H escaped, hit Orton, sending him down to the mat. Triple H chopped Orton, but Orton promptly replied with a quick, swift, typical Randy Orton power slam. I gotta say, man, Triple H hit a spine buster and then traded 2 near falls with Randy Orton. Am I the only one who watches Triple H when he does a spine buster or does that jumping knee spots or he drives his opponent's face into his knee? Or even when he does the pedigree? Am I the only one who thinks he's going to blow out some sort of ligament? I fear for this man's safety in the ring. That's another one of those reasons. When I have to watch him and I physically do one of those deals, watching him wrestle, you know it's about time he fucking gets out of the ring and sits in the offices and does, paperwork. Gotta sit in the offices and build NXT to where it needs to be, man. Enough of this shit. I cringe every time he does anything, especially with his fucking known history of injuries. Triple H hit a spine buster, traded some near falls. Triple H put Orton in a crossface. Orton struggled until finally reaching the ropes. Triple H went for a pedigree, but Orton countered with an RKO, but Triple H kicked out. Why are you giving Randy Orton the RKO on that spot, only for Triple H to kick out when Triple H was never going to win the match anyway? Where is the credibility on the finishing moves? I don't know. Orton went to the corner and went for the punt kick because Triple H kicked out of the RKO. Triple H caught him and pedigreed him instead, only hitting a 2 count. Back on the outside, Triple H had a side slam on the table. It didn't break, so he did it 3 more times to chance of yes, and 1 more time. Table didn't break. Triple H threw Orton back in the ring, paused for a bit before re-entering the ring, and then literally out of nowhere, Randy Orton hits a second RKO, and that was the end. Scene. Again, I don't understand why we needed 2 RKOs when the RKO was going to finish him in the end anyway. Completely missable match. This was painfully fucking boring. It felt like it lasted forever. And I, honest to God, think that this has got to be it for these shows. I don't give a fuck who you're building this show for. After tonight, I don't know how the Prince wants any of these fucking guys back in the ring. Let alone calling it a WrestleMania caliber event. You are spitting in the fucking face of WrestleMania every time you have the announcers and commentators utter this. What a fucking crock of shit. Bobby Lashley. Man, you sense the excitement just by me saying that. Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. I made a typo. I made a typo. boring Strowman. There you go. A lot better. Typical big man match here with two guys who generate just as much interest as a fucking PBS pledge drive at 4 o'clock in the morning while you sit there with insomnia. Strowman, so many start and stop pushes with this guy, it's to a point where nobody cares. Nobody cares about Braun Strowman. And if you do, you're one of these fucking guys. Please, the guy is fucking dull as a box of nails. On top of the fact that WWE continues to protect him by hiding his faults in gimmicks and gimmick matches is incredibly old. We know he's green as grass. You don't need to continue doing the same old shtick over and over again. You know, there was once upon a time where people thought this guy was going to be the face of the company. Once upon a time, people thought this guy was going to be the face of the company. I even lobbied for him to beat Brock Lesnar back at No Mercy. Man, those days are nothing more than skewed fucking visions of grandeur from WWE. I thought it was right. I thought it was the right move. Looking back at it, I'm glad it never fucking happened, man. Braun Strowman is a complete fucking sleep-inducing act on WWE television. The guy may be fucking impressive. He may be fast. He may be big. He may have a great look. The guy does nothing, man. Seriously, nothing. I would rather watch paint dry for 5 hours than watch this fucking guy. Bobby Lashley might not be everyone's cup of coffee. He certainly isn't mine. I enjoy my coffee light and sweet, please. I'll take mine black, but that's not everybody's cup of coffee. Bobby Lashley is a charisma vacuum. The guy is impressive as far as feats of strength go, but this guy, I swear to God, if he was not on the payroll, if he never showed up again, I would not even bat an eyelash. He offers zero to Monday Night Raw. Zero. Now, at this point, I thought everybody was going to be in the Battle Royal. I thought that they were going to be in the Battle Royal, so watching this match happen, and it ended in like 6 minutes or so, I figured that they didn't want these guys doing too much because they were probably going to be in the Battle Royal, but obviously that did not happen. And this match was the same shit that we've seen through months and months and months of repetitive television. You know, repetitive television. That's all this is. You know, we got Lashley beating up Strowman with Corbin and McIntyre. We got Lashley in the Shield. We got all the... It's just a mixture of fucking characters. Rinse and repeat, swapping them back and forth, with the same shit happening over and over and over again. Why am I going to care? Because they did an arm wrestling match on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, what a great way to build a fucking match that means nothing in the end. Lashley came out and posed on a platform showing off his physique. Like Chris Masters. I miss me some good old Masterpiece, man. That was a good gimmick. Chris Masters. Remember him? When Strowman came out, that same platform was still on the stage. He grabbed the platform, threw it off the stage, and it broke into pieces down below. That was probably the most entertaining part of the match. And it didn't even involve Bobby Lashley. Great win for everybody. Awesome. They actually did some decent stuff here, running around the ring, showing off their speed and their strengths. You know, leapfrogs by Bobby Lashley. I'm not saying the guy's not talented. I'm just saying that the guy sucks. That's all I'm saying. Lashley grabbed him, hit a power slam, but Strowman kicked out. Of course he did. Because they delivered it on Monday. Why would they do the same thing on Friday and have it be successful, just like it was on Monday? What point would that make? Lashley grabbed him, power slam, Strowman kicked out. Lashley took him down with a headlock, because that's exactly what I want to see from two big men that are 300 pounds, a fucking headlock. Strowman powered out, splashed Lashley in the corner, sending him to the floor. Strowman ran around the ring, typical fucking Strowman, shoulder blocking Lashley to the floor twice. Lashley got control, taking him outside of the ring and hitting a big suplex on the stage. He went to the top rope, but Strowman threw him off the top rope and then eventually hit the power slam for the win. At this point, I'm like, can this show finally be over? And then I realized I have a WWE Championship match, a Battle Royal, and then a Goldberg versus Undertaker match. And my afternoon was completely wasted. So I hope you guys appreciate this fucking Super Showdown review. Speaking of the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. WWE title. Typical entrances for both. Kofi flinging pancakes in the Saudi crowd. Do they even eat pancakes over there? Do they? Do they understand the great meaning of a good pancake in the morning? Why are we here in another fucking country flinging pancakes as the WWE champion? Can someone please explain this to me? Unreal. You know, there was a story I read online this afternoon. I was scouring Twitter while their show was being boring. People are legitimately claiming that the reason why SmackDown's decline is in full effect is because Kofi Kingston is the WWE champion. SmackDown apparently had lower ratings this week than they did last week. And they're blaming the WWE champion or whomever the champion is. Folks, if you are one of these people who are in agreement that the reason why SmackDown's ratings are the way that they are is because of the champions that they have on these shows, you are a fucking blithering idiot. It's not the champion's fault. These shows are absolutely nothing more than atrocities every single week. They are absolutely fucking just downright criminal to a point where the McMahon should be jailed for the fucking negligence that they show every single week. How dare you blame any champions, whether it be Becky, Kofi, or Seth Rollins. Anybody. This is a problem that is one long overdue of a fix. This is not anybody's fault but Vince McMahon. This ship has had fucking holes and it's been sinking for so long. I just wish it would fucking tank already. So that they could finally get a taste of what the fucking real issue is, because nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change about these fucking people. Don't blame the champions. Kofi might not be everybody's champion, but how dare you fucking blame Kofi Kingston for the SmackDown decline? Don't you see what's happening on these shows? SmackDown is Monday Night Raw light. The only difference is it's 2 hours compared to 3. Don't you ever dare blame a champion for the way that these shows are declining in ratings. That just goes to show you are an unintelligent fucking cretin. Speaking of this, typical entrances for both. Kofi flinging pancakes. Commentary tried to sell the fact that it was justified for Dolph Ziggler to jump the line for the WWE Championship. The more you highlight it, the more it doesn't make any sense to me. Dolph Ziggler's been off TV for 6 months, comes back and gets a title shot over everyone else on the roster. Yes, this is an expendable show. Yes, we know the only reason he is in this match is because Kevin Owens didn't make the trip for personal reasons. But it ultimately shows WWE's lack of care for legit contenders and getting them to be believable. Dolph Ziggler's case could legitimately be anyone's case on the roster. It should have been me! That could be anybody's fucking excuse on this roster. That could be anybody's disgruntled fucking case on the roster. 100% of the roster probably feels that same exact way. And here we are justifying Dolph Ziggler being off television for 6 months. We didn't even get an explanation as to why he relinquished the United States Championship. Half-assed. Half-assed. He went away, thinking that he went away. He relinquished the United States title to show up at number 30 in the Royal Rumble in January, only to get eliminated in 4 minutes. That's some top-notch storytelling right there, WWE. How stupid do you think we are? This match was fucking short. It fell flat. It was not entertaining at all. And for all the fucking bullshit that Dolph Ziggler talked about, it should have been me. I was expecting a 20-minute fucking classic. Barely 8 minutes for this motherfucker. Something was just completely missing. No excitement. Dead crowd. What do you want me to say about this? Nothing happened here that is even worth reporting on. This was merely a means to an end. Just like everything else WWE does with these shows. They got stomping ground in 2 weeks. This was nothing more than 8 minutes to fly these guys out there. Dolph was paid a cool mill. They got 8 minutes out of these guys, only to set up a match in 2 weeks at Stomping Ground because Dolph Ziggler was screwed in this match. No, we were screwed because we wasted 5 hours of our fucking Friday afternoon watching a fucking garbage television, or a garbage show on television that will go down as one of the worst shows of the year in pro wrestling. Dolph was in control early, stomping and elbowing and elbowing Kofi Kingston. Kofi finally whipped Dolph into the corner very hard. You know how Dolph loves to sell. Giving him some breathing room here to open that space up between he and Dolph. Ziggler went for a zigzag. Kofi cut him off. Started building some offense there. Dolph came back with a DDT. He went for a Famouser, but Kofi blocked it and they exchanged near falls. Kofi hit the SOS. Then took Dolph out with a trust fall, which he hit the floor more than he did Dolph. Dolph shoved Kofi into the barricade, then shoved him into the nearby steps. Kofi fought back, sending Dolph into the ring, but Ziggler blocked a Trouble in Paradise attempt. Ziggler countered with a roll-up. Kofi kicked out. Kingston shoved Ziggler into the ropes, where Woods smacked Ziggler with a kick. Then Kofi followed with a Trouble in Paradise. And that was it. With all the complaining and all the crying and all the bitching and all the moaning that Dolph Ziggler did here, like I said, I expected 15 to 20 minutes of a classic. And goodbye, Dolph Ziggler. Back to the fucking comedy clubs. You go. Here we are, another fucking 2 weeks that we have of this. It should have been me. It should have been me. It could have been me. Blow me. 2 weeks. 2 more weeks, we got to deal with this shit. Byron Saxton asks Dolph Ziggler backstage if his break was too long. Now, it wasn't long enough, Mr. Saxton, because like I said, with Dolph coming back in the short amount of time that he was away, 6 months is not long enough. He needed to stay away longer than that. 6 months is not enough time to miss Dolph Ziggler, let alone feel like he's guaranteed a WWE title shot. Nothing's changed with Dolph. He's still the same loser that he was 6 months ago. If he took fucking 2 years off and then came back to the WWE, that might be more than enough time to kind of undo the damage that WWE Creative bestowed upon Dolph Ziggler. 6 months is not long enough. Dolph still feels like Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, no matter how great he is, feels like a fucking loser. So Saxton asks if his break was too long. Ziggler says he thought Kofi was a hero, a fighting champion, but actually he was nothing more than a coward. Saxton said, some say he deserved it. Ziggler says he outperformed everyone. Ziggler called out Woods' interference in the match and demanded another match, and he says, I want Kofi for the WWE Championship, one-on-one. Nobody else, no outside interference, in a steel cage. Awesome. Awesome. Should be a good match. Hopefully they get more than 8 fucking minutes, but we'll see what happens, and we all know what the end result is going to be, folks. We all know why Dolph Ziggler was here. Now we know why. So he's back for another pay-per-view, and then after that, goodbye, Dolph. I hope that your next gig is a funny one, because this show is fucking hilarious. 50-man Battle Royal. For the most part, this was nothing more than a chaotic mess. I did not even take any notes on this outside of what was going on in the end. This was boring. It was chaotic. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I'm actually surprised that they fit all 50 of these guys in the ring at the same time. What I didn't understand is everybody in this match came down collectively as a locker room. The only people that got a ring entrance, and I really don't understand this, is The Miz. Who the fuck is The Miz? And he got fireworks on top of that. Out of all the fucking people you got in that ring, The Miz is getting an entrance of his own. And then Samoa Joe. I'm happy for Samoa Joe getting an entrance of his own. But he's the United States champion. Why the fuck shouldn't he get an entrance of his own? Maybe undeservedly so as the United States champion. I complained about that on Monday. We're just giving up titles to the fucking people who lost them in a pay-per-view just a month ago. Elias got his entrance, and Elias made it to the ring. He was writing a song about Ricochet and Ali, And they're no Elias or whatever the fuck he was singing. I don't know. Elias is another loser, just like Dolph Ziggler. So he's singing and strumming, and the Miz is out there. He jumps the fucking ropes before the bell rings, by the way. And he attacks Elias, and he throws Elias into the ring. Titus O'Neil even got his own entrance, and he did the whole thing where he was running down, and he got to the bottom of the ramp, and he stopped. Titus World Slide put Titus Catering on the map. There you go. So Titus got his own entrance of all fucking people. You know, WWE has to make light of that from last year's Greatest Royal Rumble. This was boring. Parts of the match in the beginning, literally nothing was going on. Nothing of importance. It was just a bunch of bodies going out one by one. Who gives a shit? The only thing that we gave a shit about was the ending and who won this thing. Most of the participants, like I said, came out just, you know, looking like a bunch of fucking losers. Cesaro was another one here in my notes. Samoa Joe, The Miz, Elias, Titus, all got entrances. For whatever reason, I don't know. The match featured a lot of guys who aren't on TV, a lot of guys in 205 Live, and that's pretty much it. That's all this thing was. R-Truth was not in the Battle Royal, who most of you, by the way, think R-Truth is the best thing on WWE TV right now. R-Truth was not even in the match. Speaking of R-Truth, I gotta mention this. R-Truth was in Saudi Arabia. He was on the flight to Saudi Arabia. He lost the fucking 24/7 clown title in the airport. Jinder Mahal, not in his wrestling gear, by the way, which makes me believe somebody's been listening. He came out in the airport wearing a tracksuit, pinned R-Truth on the fucking runway for the airport, won the 24/7 title, and conveniently was on the same flight as R-Truth as the new 24/7 champion. So we get a clip on YouTube that kind of went viral, or blew up. Good for them. R-Truth was roaming through the cabins of the airplane. Everybody was under covers. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning. They were flying over the Red Sea. He was picking up the blankets of everybody. He said everybody was sleeping. He seen No Way Jose and Mojo Rawley, Kalisto. Then he finds Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal's laying back. He's got the blanket over his head. He's sleeping with the 24/7 title on his chest. R-Truth got a referee. He gently smothers Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal cannot kick out. 1, 2, 3. R-Truth reclaims the 24/7 championship. Then he realizes that he's on a plane full of people who want the 24/7 title, and he locks himself in the bathroom talking to the title, calling it the 24/7 European title. Now, this clip on YouTube has like almost 3 million views or some shit like that. It was a 3-minute clip of everything I just explained to you. And I still stand on the 24/7 title because the title itself is not doing anything for WWE television. They need a more serious, sports-directed product. That's what they need. Some people were arguing with me on social media that the product is serious. No, it's not. The product is a fucking circus. It's not serious. Filled with illogical garbage that most of you don't even realize is happening. That's why you have me. Now, the 24/7 title is doing nothing for ratings. Nothing. In fact, the ratings are fucking getting worse. The 24/7 title does not need to be on TV because it's not helping the show. It's actually making the show more of a fucking joke than anything else. I don't want that title in segments. I don't want that title interrupting segments. I don't want to see these fucking people roaming around like a fucking rat race on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. The locker room chasing R-Truth all over the arena. It looks fucking so terrible. It looks terrible. If they keep the title to YouTube, if they keep the title to the social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram, I'll be okay with it. I don't want it on the shows. Better yet, it's not needed on the shows. Save those guys for the internet. Leave the big boys to the fucking Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Lives of the week. Even though those shows are fucking complete horrendous garbage, putting that 24/7 shit is not making those shows any better. In fact, it's making the shows worse. Keep it to the internet. R-Truth, who most of you, like I said, is the best thing on WWE television. That's what you guys think. Why the fuck did he fly out to Jeddah if he wasn't in the Battle Royal? Did anybody think about this? Why did he fly out to Jeddah if he was not in the Battle Royal? Logic. If he didn't fly, he wouldn't be at the airport. If he wasn't at the airport, he would not have lost the title in the first place. So fucking stupid. I don't understand the logic. They didn't even use him. He wasn't even on the show in any which way. People were being thrown out pretty quickly with this thing. The Singh brothers were the first to be eliminated. Robert Roode, who no longer has the fucking porn stash. I guess that was another failed endeavor by WWE. The Authors of Pain were in there. I guess they're back. Which brand they're on, who the fuck knows? It's not going to matter at the end of the day anyway, because WWE doesn't even have a tag team division. They faced off with the War Raiders. They were found, by the way. I guess their Viking vessel did not hit a fucking iceberg. They were there with the War Raiders and Heavy Machinery. There was a nice little glimpse of what the tag team division could be, but will never be. AOP threw out Tucker while the War Raiders sent out AOP. Titus, meanwhile, was underneath the ring. He was hiding. I don't know why he didn't wait there until there was nobody left in the ring, but he decided to come on out with a half-empty ring. There were about 20 guys left in the ring. He's like, you know what? I guess it's my time to come in there now. If he was smart enough, why didn't he stay the entire time underneath the ring? So he came back into the ring when he did, and he eliminated both Hanson and Rowe. He eliminated both members of the War Raiders, which tells you all that you need to know about their future under Vince McMahon. Now, I want to mention this. It's completely disgraceful. Completely fucking disgraceful. So, you bring them up to Monday Night Raw, or I should say, you bring them down. You call them down to Monday Night Raw as the NXT Tag Team Champions. In the midst of a great run, they put on a great match with Aleister Black and Ricochet at TakeOver New York. They put on a fantastic match with, Undisputed Era at the TakeOver show in January, Phoenix. In the midst of this great run. So, you do not have them drop the titles to the Street Profits, or better yet, even appear at TakeOver 25. Instead, you have them relinquish the titles on NXT television with no reason at all, move them up to Raw in hopes of bigger things planned, and then you put them in the Battle Royal on this show to be eliminated by Titus fucking O'Neil? How does anybody justify that fucking garbage? Is anyone going to make mention of this when they cover Super Showdown? A complete fucking disgrace. WWE should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Unreal. Shelton Benjamin, he still has a job. Oh my God. He threw out Titus O'Neil. There you go. He just eliminated the War Raiders, and then within seconds, he gets eliminated by Shelton Benjamin. Samoa Joe eliminated Hawkins and Ryder. Nothing going on at this point. The announce team was laughing and complaining about how hot it was. It was 104 degrees, apparently, real-time feel by ringside, and it was 12:15 a.m. in Jeddah. They were all laughing. Graves was botching his lines. He mentioned how he called 41 hours of wrestling this week because that's exactly what it feels like. With how shows just go on and on and on and don't end and how fucking terrible they are, it feels like 41 hours. Otis of Heavy Machinery hit a caterpillar. He was immediately eliminated by Rowan. He took out Xavier Woods with an iron claw and eliminated him. And this brought in just a lot of eliminations after that, including the Revival throwing out the Usos. So there you go. They got their win back, I guess, by eliminating the Usos in the Battle Royal. Came down to Ricochet, Samoa Joe, Cesaro, Ali, Elias, and Mansoor, the NXT superstar who is from Saudi Arabia. Ali and Ricochet worked to eliminate Joe. Cesaro eliminated both of them. Elias threw out Cesaro. So this left Elias, again, so close yet so far is Elias. And Elias was eliminated by Mansoor. Mansoor drop-kicked him out of the ring. Or back body drop Mansoor out of the ring to the floor, and Elias' feet hit the ground. Mansoor wins the 50-man battle royal. Saxton interviewed Mansoor, mentioning that he was born in Saudi Arabia. Mansoor said he doesn't have the words to describe how important this is to him or to his people. He said he was a WWE prospect last year. He made his debut at the Greatest Royal Rumble. He was just a rookie with a dream to represent his country all across the world. He said he won the biggest WWE Battle Royal in history and his dream came true. And then he finished the promo by speaking in Arabic. And that was it. Fireworks went off. Good moment for Mansoor. Some of you might not know who Mansoor is. If you've been watching NXT like you should be doing on a weekly basis because it's the A show, you would see Mansoor on NXT and he's gradually getting better. I have a lot of hope in him. He's a very, very good talent. A little ordinary in appearance, and he's rather young, but I think he has a bright future if WWE allows him to be just off the chain. I see another Mustafa Ali in the making here. And that's a great fucking comparison because Ali is fantastic. Now, even though this was a heartwarming moment, even though this was kind of predictable, yet at the same time it wasn't, I didn't really think that they were going to go with Mansoor, but they ended up going with Mansoor. There were rumblings in the day that Mansoor was going to win. WrestleVotes even tweeted it out. Mansoor was going to win the Battle Royal. It's a great feeling. It's a great moment. I'm happy for him. But I gotta be honest with you. I mean, this is nothing more than just a political agenda for WWE to say, oh, look, we got this biggest battle royal in WWE history. It's taking place in Saudi Arabia. Why not have the Saudi Arabian kid win it? And we look good. And we do right for the people of Saudi Arabia. We do right by the government and the prince. They could have had anybody win this thing. They didn't have to have Mansoor win. But the fact that they did have Mansoor win, you know, it's very difficult for me to believe that it was a genuine fucking thing. Did they really think Mansoor when they announced this thing 4 weeks ago? Probably not. They probably made a decision day of, oh, we got a Saudi Arabian kid in NXT. We'll fly him out on Tuesday. He'll be ready for Friday. He's going to win the Battle Royal. That's all it was, folks. It's nothing more than a political push, an agenda for WWE to look good in the end to the Saudi Arabian government. That's all it is. And I mean that in the nicest fucking way. I'm just telling you exactly what it is. Mansoor wins it. What is it going to get him? Is it going to get him a spot on WWE television? No. Because last year's Battle Royal didn't do anything for Braun Strowman. None of these Battle Royals do anything for anybody that wins them. It's nothing more than Mansoor. He's a Saudi Arabian guy. He won the Battle Royal. End of the story. That's all it was. Feel good moment either way, but I'm just shrugging my head. I'm like, oh, well, who cares? Undertaker versus Goldberg. Oh, my God. Folks, when WWE touted this, when WWE started to promote this, everybody was like, oh, this is going to be great. I think I was a select few of the people who didn't give a shit about this when it was announced. This is 10 to 15 years, well past its expiration date. And I didn't expect anything out of this match. And WWE made it seem like the biggest fucking deal because they have to. I watched on Tuesday, and I stated that, well, they gave away half their fucking match with just that stare down alone on Tuesday night to end the show. Come Friday, Goldberg makes his big grand entrance that felt like an eternity. The Undertaker made his entrance. It took about fucking 16 minutes for him to get to the ring. Bell sounded, stare down, and we were off to the running. I watched with intent. I watched with open eyes. And at the end of the thing, at the end of this match, I was absolutely embarrassed for both The Undertaker and Bill Goldberg. The Undertaker, outside of Shawn Michaels, is my favorite wrestler in WWE history. The WWE uploaded WrestleMania 25 again in light of the Saudi Arabian show tonight. They uploaded that match on their YouTube channel. Michaels vs. Taker, WrestleMania 25 on their YouTube channel. And I sat here for 35 minutes while drinking my coffee this morning, and I watched it on YouTube again. Got chills all over again. Shed a tear or two because the match is fucking great, and it's got a lot of sentimental meaning to me. But I watched, and I'm like, man, The Undertaker looked fucking phenomenal here at his age. Jim Ross sounded so great. Everything about that match was so perfect. And then we watched this match take place tonight, and man, I am I am fucking embarrassed for both guys. It was downright fucking depressing. It was sad. It was a fucking mess. It was a mess. Both The Undertaker and Bill Goldberg embarrassed themselves tonight. Both Bill Goldberg and The Undertaker now must realize that the end of the fucking line is near. It's here. The sands of time have run out on both of these men's careers. Look at what you did, and I mean this wholeheartedly. What's more important to you? I mean this wholeheartedly. What is more important to you? The fact that Goldberg probably was paid a cool $2 million to be here tonight. The fact that The Undertaker was paid a cool $2 million to be here tonight on top of the WWE contract that they just gave him to not do the signings and the Q&As and all that other bullshit. Goldberg's last match was WrestleMania, losing the Universal Championship to Brock Lesnar in what I thought was a great match for the 5 minutes that it went. That was a great swan song for Bill Goldberg. Look at what you did. You jeopardized that. A great ending that many people don't get in this business. You jeopardized a great moment for you and Lesnar and that title at WrestleMania. For what? To embarrass yourself here for a quick fucking buck. Granted, he might have wanted the match with The Undertaker, but look at what you did. Are you going to go to bed tonight happy with what you did here in Saudi Arabia? Are you going to go to bed tonight knowing that I can now put a cap on my career as a pro wrestler? I know if I'm Bill Goldberg and I'm going to sleep tonight in Saudi Arabia or on the flight back to the fucking States, I'm crying myself to sleep. And man, I'm thinking about the next fucking match I want to have, because how the fuck can you be happy about what you did and happy with that result being the closing exclamation point on your career? Same thing with The Undertaker. Same thing with The Undertaker. Every single fucking match The Undertaker has had coming out of the Hell in a Cell with Triple H, the end of an era match where he, H, and Shawn Michaels raised each other's arms at the end of that match. More and more I see The Undertaker and I think back to that very match, and that should have been the match where The Undertaker retired for good. He'd be a lot better off, he'd be a lot healthier, he'd look better. And a moment would have been made. That moment would have been captured in the annals of WWE history. The streak would have been intact. He still would have remained undefeated at WrestleMania. And here we are in 2019. Coming out of that moment, The Undertaker still makes yearly appearances for a fucking quick buck. His appearances on television mean absolutely nothing to the company. Ratings don't increase. People aren't watching The Undertaker. People don't watch these shows to see The Undertaker. It's the same shit over and over and over again. How many times can you see The Undertaker make an appearance on weekly television? I mean, I think we're a little programmed to know what to expect. And here we are in 2019, and I'm thinking back to that end of an era moment. And I look at him now and what he did with Bill Goldberg here. It's a fucking disgrace. When is enough enough? When is WWE going to realize that what they're doing with these shows is they're booking talent that no longer can hack it in WWE? You can build a show all you want. Goldberg, The Undertaker, first time ever. Triple H and Randy Orton, a fucking colossal match with so much history behind it. I'm over it. I'm over it. The fact of the matter is, that closing sequence of a match that we seen tonight between Goldberg and The Undertaker is the only thing that people are going to remember. This was a fucking embarrassment for both men, and a clear sign that the sands of time have run out. And this is not the last time we're going to see The Undertaker, because I'm sure he's going to be back again next year for WrestleMania. And as long as they keep paying him, he'll be back. He had the career of a lifetime And with every match that he continues to have, his legacy is being tarnished one after the other. I would say don't go back and watch the match, but if you didn't watch the match, I want you to go back and watch exactly what I'm talking about. I am not going to blame one or the other. Both are to blame. WWE is to blame. You put a price on legacy. Look at what it got you. Now you embarrassed 2 Hall of Famers for the fucking price of blood money. Shame on you. I am disgusted as a fucking fan to watch this shit. Idols, fucking childhood heroes, embarrassed because they'd rather take a fucking quick buck than maintain their goddamn legacy in this business. Fuck you. What a fucking joke. Match started out with Goldberg and Undertaker staring down. Goldberg did the throat gesture that the Undertaker is quick to do all the time to his opponents. Then he hit 2 spears. Undertaker kicked out. The Undertaker sat up. Undertaker ducked a clothesline, tried for a chokeslam. Goldberg countered, transitioned into a knee bar. Here we are. A fucking knee bar in a match with 2 50-year-old Hall of Famers. Who the fuck produced this thing? This should have been 3 minutes. Spear, jackhammer, when Goldberg was fucking good to go. Kick out, sit up, choke slam, tombstone. That's it. That's it. Or if you want to do tombstone, kick out last ride. That's it. Now, but WWE opts to go for a fucking jackhammer in the middle of the match after Goldberg is already gassed and bleeding from the top of his head. So Goldberg counted into a fucking knee bar. Goldberg whipped the Undertaker into the ropes. Goldberg missed a spear attempt, sending Goldberg into the turnbuckle. He was bleeding, and I don't know if it was legit or not. Maybe we'll find out later this weekend. But I got glimpses of fucking Dustin Rhodes at Double or Nothing. His head was busted wide open. Undertaker hit old school, went for a chokeslam after Goldberg paused. He went for the tombstone. Goldberg kicked out. The tombstone that the Undertaker delivered on Goldberg was so sloppy, he could barely get Goldberg up. Goldberg at that point was so gassed, he was dead weight. So when the Undertaker tried to lift Goldberg up, he dropped him. Goldberg looked, and I was watching this with intent because my eyes were wide open at this fucking point. Goldberg was clenching onto the fucking hold around the Undertaker's waist as if it was a fucking death grip, just so that he did not drop him. And the Undertaker delivered a tombstone. Goldberg's head snapped almost in the wrong fucking position where it could have been a fucking catastrophe. That's how bad this tombstone was. Tombstone kicked out. So a double clothesline spot followed. Both men were knocked out. Undertaker hit snake eyes. Afterwards, Goldberg followed with another spear. Then he looked for the jackhammer. Goldberg went for the jackhammer after all of this already. And Goldberg has been known to wrestle matches that are 2 minutes or less. Here we are. This match went fucking 6 times the distance. And at this point, he's delivering a jackhammer. The ugliest looking jackhammer I've ever seen. It looked more like a brain buster than a fucking jackhammer. Goldberg barely got the Undertaker up. And he got him up to a point where he could not even do the full revolution into the fucking slam. It was a brain buster, and a brain buster that was half-assed. Completely fucking embarrassing. This was falling apart at this point. Goldberg seemed like he was going for a tombstone pile driver, and the Undertaker was going to reverse. Both men fell down. You know at this point, the Undertaker was fucking pissed. Undertaker pinned Goldberg after a chokeslam, and that was it. The camera stood on the Undertaker at this point, and you could physically see the fucking disappointment in this man's face. You could see the anger just seething out of the Undertaker. He had to stand there and do his fucking shtick, get on his knee, do the tongue, do the fucking hand in the air with the pyro going off. And all this man was thinking was, this is my fucking Saudi Arabia match. This is Goldberg's last match. Show went off the air. Absolutely fucking terrible main event. What was even worse was the announcers were trying to justify all this shit. They didn't know what the fuck they watched. They had to make light of everything that just happened. Hyping it up, talking so great about it. Meanwhile, we all knew the match was a goddamn embarrassment. Absolutely terrible show. One of the worst shows this was worse than Crown Jewel. This was worse than Crown Jewel. $500 million that this company took to put on these shows for the next 8 years. And every single fucking show has gotten worse and worse and worse. When is enough enough? When is enough enough? Terrible. One of the worst shows that they put on. I can't even tell you what was the best match of the night. Probably Balor and Andrade was the best match of the night. They said that this was a WrestleMania equivalent pay-per-view. A WrestleMania equivalent pay-per-view. What WrestleMania did they equate this to? WrestleMania 11? WrestleMania 12? What WrestleMania is this equivalent to? WrestleMania 9? WrestleMania 32? Fucking terrible. WWE should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Now looking back at it, I guess that fucking saying and that quote that you've been saying for 4 weeks didn't age too well. WrestleMania is laughing. WrestleMania equivalent my ass. This was a fucking joke. A complete joke. You will not watch a worse show this year from WWE, excluding Monday Night Raw. Everybody on that plane. I wish I was a fly on the wall backstage after that show was over. How many of you, because I know someone's going to fucking watch this, how many of you are happy with what you got? You got your nice payday, right? I guess the art of pro wrestling comes with a price for you not to give a shit. Give me a fucking break. I hope everybody's fucking happy with their blood money because you embarrassed 2 fucking legacies tonight that will never recover. That's your fucking off the script. I didn't think I was going to have much to talk about here tonight, but man, the worse these shows are, the better I am. This show was a fucking embarrassment. I'm getting out of here, man. Thank you guys so very much for everything that you do for me. Hit that thumbs up. Part 2 is coming tomorrow. It's already uploaded if you're on Patreon. It's been on there for about 24 hours now, man. Go and check that shit out. Thank you guys so very much for all your support, and I will be back on Saturday for Part 2. I'll be at House of Glory, but you guys will be watching off the script while I'm calling LAX and the Lucha Brothers tomorrow in Queens for House of Glory, Temperature Rising 2. See you guys later, man. Hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys are following me on social media at JD from NY206, both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And check out the sponsors, man. Harrys.com/script and Ridge.com/script. Code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off, man. See you on Saturday. Not sure if I'm going to be here Sunday, but we'll figure it out. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys right back here for more Off the Script this weekend. I'll talk to you later.